3 disturbing and deadly cases of domestic violence in just one day. 7 Action News investigator Scott Lewis joins us now. Scott, you've been looking into this. You found tens of thousands of victims and cases every year, and that's just Michigan alone?
That is Michigan, according to state police documents, something they call the Michigan Incident Crime Reporting System. And the incidents run the gambit from violent homicides to cases where there was no physical injury at all. According to the records, there were over 95,000 cases of domestic violence reported to the police in 2011. The most recent year that the stats are available for. Of those 95,000, more than a third involved boyfriend-girlfriend or former boyfriend-girlfriend, and only a small fraction of the incidents, 101, were fatal.
So, Scott, it seems that men commit these crimes more than women. Do the statistics bear that out?
They do. There were way more female victims and more male offenders is what we find in the statistics. When you break it down by sex, the vast majority of victims, about 68,000, were women, and more than 26,000 victims were men. Okay,
so we covered the gender issue there. What about age? Is there any sort of statistic that shows that an age is more prevalent to do this than others?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. The ages range from under 9 years old all the way to 99 plus, but the largest group of offenders and victims are in their 20s. Nearly one-third of all the domestic violence offenders were between the ages of 20 and 29, and one-third of the victims were also between 20 and 29 years old. And more than one-third of the 95,000 domestic violence cases involved no physical injuries. Domestic violence, by definition in Michigan, can involve things like terrorizing, frightening, or intimidated. And any way you cut it, there's a lot of domestic violence going on in Michigan. It's really kind of a sad commentary on how many people hurt the ones they love or loved.
And certainly so in a case of maybe a personal protection order may not necessarily always save somebody.
We see it time after time as these things ratchet up. Yeah. The women usually get PPOs or the men, and they don't stop the people.
That's a story for another day, I think, just the PPOs by himself. Okay, investigator Scott Lewis covering some surprising numbers tonight.